October, the Trust welcomes Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Very exciting visit for them. Archbishop Desmond Tutu has an interest in healthcare, and the Trust welcomes his conversations for change with his community, and they're looking forward to a discussion. He's met by the top team, the chair of the Trust, Aileen McLeish, and the top team of the Trust, including the chief exec, Andrew Lyles. Conversations for Change is about connecting people with each other. The UBUNTU philosophy proposed by Bishop Tutu speaks about all of us being connected in one way or another.
But it's wonderful to be here. Thank you very, very much. I look around and I see people who look very eager and they really want to soak up everything. And that's fantastic. I'm not young. But I have to tell you, they named a school after me in a small little village in the Netherlands quite a while ago. I mean, more than 10 years ago, which meant I was looking maybe slightly less old. And the school was celebrating its 400th anniversary, and my wife and I went to the Netherlands to join in the celebrations. And when we arrived, a little girl came up to me and said, "Were you here when the school started?" I thought, yes, I was decrepit, but I didn't think it was quite so obvious. I really wanted to say to you something that is quite obvious and something that you've probably been experiencing a great deal more as you've had these conversations. You know, when God created Adam, the one story speaks of how God put Adam in a garden, and things were really lovely in the garden. I mean, he had all these. I mean, there was no bloodshed in this garden. Everyone was a vegetarian there, and so God said, "It's not good for this man to be alone." And so God said, "Adam," and Adam said, "Yes. I think you've got to choose a partner for yourself from the animals." And Adam said, "Well, yes." So God made these animals pass in procession in front of him, and God would say, "What about this one?" And Adam said, "No." "What about this one?" "Not on your life." And so God did sort of the first transplant. Got Adam to sleep, and then out of Adam's rib produced this delectable creature. And when Adam awoke, he said, "Wow, this is just what the doctor ordered." But actually, you know, it's a charming story, but it says a very great deal about who we are as human beings, and this is what the Trust seeks to propagate, that we human beings are made actually for complementarity, that to be completely self-sufficient actually means you are subhuman, that we need each other, so that each makes up for what is lacking in the other. And that is Ubuntu. When they say a person is a person through other persons, that in an incredible kind of way, none of us has all the gifts. And God says, yes, because the gift that you don't have, the other has. And so we were made for this incredible, delicate network of making up for what is lacking in the other. And unfortunately, far too frequently, we have egged people on to want to be self-sufficient. And we are in a culture where the worst thing that can happen to anyone is to fail. Because somehow we've missed out on something that is very important. That the worth of a human being is not something that depends on this or that attribute or this or that, whatever. It is not extrinsic. Your worth is intrinsic. It is the fact that you are a human being. That is the thing that has to make you excited. And that's why we fought a system such as apartheid. Any system of discrimination that claims that what makes someone worthwhile is this or that attribute. Often it would be a biological attribute which by its very nature cannot be universal. So it would be skin color. Now, not everyone is black, obviously. I have to digress just a little bit. I hope I will remember where I ended up. But one day we were in Shropshire, and we were together with an African bishop who was coming to be fetched by his hostess, an English hostess. And she came, and she was late, and she was panting, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We were so busy. We were working like Trojans." I thought she was quite sharp, actually. I mean, she recovered very quickly. But yes, that is frequently, obviously, a racial thing. That is what we have used mostly. So we exclude those who do not have that particular biological attribute. Now, in South Africa, it was skin color, and I sometimes, just to poke fun at pointing just how silly it actually is, I said, instead of skin color, supposing we change and say the thing that makes you important, since I have a large nose, I would say is the size of your nose. So, you want to enter this university? Well, the primary qualification for entry in this university is you must have a large nose. large noses only. Well, if you unfortunately suffered from having a small nose, then you would have had to apply to the Minister of Large Noses Affairs for permission to enter this university. That's exactly what they used to do. That, oh, you are black, you want to go and attend Wits, the University of the Witwatersrand. The primary qualification was biological, not anything to do with intelligence. And imagine all of the suffering that they inflicted, we have inflicted. You've got it here too. You've done it here. Mercifully, most, well, yes, I hope it is right, most would be opposed to it. But when the economy is doing well, you want all of these people who can do the dirty jobs. And then when the economy is not doing so well, you want to kick them out because they're taking your jobs, you see. But that's exactly what Hitler did with the Jews. And this, the thing that you are about, I mean, so excitingly involved with, is actually a recognition that each of us is gifted, but that we shrivel if we do not share, if we do not care for one another. A compassion, a generosity, a caring. You know, you look around our world just now, you see the Occupy Wall Street, and at the heart of all of those demonstrations and protests is people saying our world is marked far too much by inequity. And you're saying, when are we going to learn, actually, that our prosperity, in fact, is something that depends on how we hang in together, how we heal. And I love coming to hospitals, and I fell head over heels in love with my nurse when I was about 13, 14, and I had TB, and I don't think she ever got my right pulse. Each time she touched me, oh, my heart would go. Yes. But it is actually a very holy calling, yours. Healing. Because for those of us who are Christians, one of the primary aspects of our Lord was that he was the healer. How many times when you read stories in the Gospels, they hinge around healing. And so you are part of an incredible movement, God's movement, the movement for healing a world that is hurting, where so many feel excluded, alienated. You are going to be special. you are going to be the ones, yeah, who speak about the infinite worth of each single person. When you are a nurse, bringing a cup of water to someone lying there, totally helpless, utterly dependent on you. Let me finish by just telling, I went to Calcutta and visited the home that Mother Teresa had started. She wasn't there on that occasion, but they had derelicts. You know, they picked people up off the streets who were smelling to high heaven, you know, with sick-making sores oozing. And there were some very beautiful young Indian nuns. You looked at them as they cleaned out these sores and washed these awfully smelly people. And they were glowing. You know, it was as if they were doing that to our Lord. And of course, yes, they were. Inasmuch as you have done it to the least of these, my sisters and my brothers. And maybe if we are able to inculcate in our nurses and doctors, all of these people involved in the healing ministry, if you were thinking, hey, this is not just a unit patient, so you have statistics, so many patients. This is Jesus. And I have the great privilege of ministering to him. And that I'm not doing it alone. We are all in this together.